All right. Well, a good starting point, and I know we've already talked about this and been over some of this before, is history of the company, just where it started. I'm guessing you started the company, Dave, and when that was. How old's the company now?
The company's almost 20 years old. We'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary in 2015.
Right. And
go ahead.
yeah, and so it started how? That was you were a gigging musician, I guess, and how did you get involved with the
Sure, I was
gear side of it?
freelancing as a bass player in New York City, doing studio work, and I met my original partner, Alex Aguilar, through Roger Sadowski. We were working on, we were helping Roger with a preamp design. Alex was designing it, and I was one of several bass players who gave him feedback. And out of that, a few years later, I decided that I needed 2 preamp for my studio work that was specific for bass players. And Alex and I went into business with 2 products, and when I say 2 products, I mean 2 actual products, not
Right.
2 products in a line. And went to a NAMM show with the 2 actual products under our arm, and that was the very beginning.
And they were what exactly?
Those were DB680s.
Right.
One of them had misspellings on it.
What on the knobs or
Well, we spelled bandwidth wrong.
bass wrong?
Oh, wow.
Well, we know bass we spelled right, but bandwidth we spelled wrong on.
It's a tricky one.
And so that one's out there. If you have the one with the misspelling, it might be worth,
It's worth a few bob, I guess. Yeah.
could be.
And so that was a sort of springboard for you. So presumably, then that NAMM show went pretty well for you, and you kicked on from there.
Very early on, we had very high quality players that wanted the DB680. So we immediately got a fair amount of good press, good endorsers, and and some orders. But it's hard to get a new thing going. It was an expensive preamp. It was esoteric in the sense that not all bass players really needed a 2 preamp for their studio use with 2 parametric EQs in it. So it was slow going for a long time.
Because it was such high-end gear, or
Really high-end gear and expensive.
yeah.
And
So what's the key when you've got stuff like that and it's pro gear, it's high? What's the key to getting the momentum going with that? Is that word of mouth or endorsements?
I think it's everything. That people have to be aware of the company. This was the days at the very beginning of the internet. So the world wasn't quite as flat as it is now. So getting people to know who you were, what you were doing, to believe in you as doing something that's really valid and important, it was a little bit harder. You had to take ads out in magazines, which is something that we still like to do. But back then, we had to take a lot of ads out. It's harder when you're a small company. And you have to keep doing things that a larger company would do, even though in the very beginning there was just the 2 of us.
Being such a high-end stuff and the
Yeah.
price point that it is, did you struggle initially to get into retail? Would that come later, perhaps?
Retail was a struggle. So we started with the bass specialty stores. You really go right away to the dealers that are going to understand you immediately. So there was places like Bass Northwest, the Bass Pacific store, the Bass Exchange, the LA Bass Exchange.
LA Bass Exchange. Yeah.
Which is where you worked, is that right?
That's where I worked, yeah. That's
Yeah.
how we first met. I was selling Aguilar at the store.
So those are the initial places you can get in, and probably the next group of stores we got some response from were stores where one of the main salesmen was an enthusiastic bass player. So anytime there's somebody who's really involved in playing the bass, we had an immediate way to make contact and talk to them about the product.
Uh-huh. And did you have? Was there anything like a sort of hit list that you had that you knew some bass players? You thought, if I can get that product into that guy's hands, we could be really going places. Yeah.
Well, as a New York bass player, I knew a lot of professionals here in New York.
Mm.
And also Dave knew a lot of people through the LA Bass Exchange. So very early on, we started working with some jazz greats, Sean Patitucci, Gary Willis, Mike Merritt, who does the Conan show, was an early endorser, who I knew him in New York. And also some heavy rock players
Mhm.
that I knew probably through Roger Sadowski.
Right. Okay. And what was the point in which you sort of suddenly realised that you had something ongoing now, you had some momentum and you had a proper, this is something, this is not a, we've got more than two products and this is
Well,
a proper ongoing concern.
It took a long time.
Mm.
We didn't initially start out as manufacturers. We started out as musicians who wanted to make a product. So our general philosophy is we try to make a mistake only once and then move on to a new mistake.
Yeah.
And hopefully, because that's how you learn.
Yeah.
And so I would say the first 10 years, we did a lot of things that could be classified as mistakes, not from a product standpoint, but from just becoming a great manufacturer,
Mm.
which is a goal of ours, is to become a very good or
Yeah.
a great manufacturer.
And I guess there was a learning curve for you as a business.
Well, exactly.
yeah.
I mean, to go from being a bass player with an entrepreneurial spirit to a successful manufacturer,
Mm.
it's been a 20-year journey, and I don't think we're there yet. We're still trying to go further.
Yeah. And tell us a bit about the manufacturing. All your stuff is manufactured here in New York, as we've seen today. There's a couple of bits outsourced from elsewhere. Is that right?
Well, all the electronics, amplifiers, pickups, preamps are made in New York City at our shop in Soho. The speaker cabinets are actually made in Southern Ohio, and that's pretty much it.
Right. So then there's no other bits that there's no Far East input or anything like that.
No, I mean
It's all homegrown.
individual parts like
Yeah.
resistors, capacitors, electrical components only come from the Far
Yeah,
East.
sure.
The individual components. We do have a small sub-assembly that we use from Ice Power that's made in the Far East.
Hmm.
Ice Power being part of Bang & Olufsen, which is a Danish company. But the metalwork, the circuit boards, the construction, all done in the U.S.
Hmm. And how much of, I mean, in terms of the product you sell through now, is that mainly through bass specialists? Are you broken into sort of, broader musical stores now, or are you still very much reliant on the specialist bass?
We love the
dealers?
bass specialists. So we have a dealer in Chicago, Bass Club Chicago. Hi, guys. So, some great specialists in the UK. But now we're in mainstream stores as well, the bigger vendors, and regional chains are great.
Mhm.
At this point, we've got a good mix of small, medium, and large dealers, and each one of those types of dealerships has something to offer the consumer, so we like to be in all of them. The bigger stores have a thing that they do, and the small and medium ones
Mhm.
do as well. And the bass specialty stores, for sure, because that's where a lot of the bass community will go.
And in terms of the product, is there a sort of a spread of product which appeals to sort of more the specialist guys, and some products which appeal to the guys who sell a broader range of product?
I think that we view the Aguilar product as being kind of for all bass players.
Right.
That at any price point really at any product that we make, that it's for a certain application. So if you buy a Tonehammer 350, you're buying it because you need that size of an amp for that purpose, and it's going to have an appropriate price tag with it that makes it a valuable piece of gear. So there's no real amateur professional division. The only division that there might be is if you're shopping for an 8-10 cabinet, which is a big piece of gear,
Mhm.
You're probably playing bigger venues and you need a cabinet that large. But there's nothing less professional about an Aguilar 410 or an Aguilar 210.
Hmm. And what about? I mean, as I said, the product is quite high end stuff. Would you look at going further down the market, perhaps, or is that just not what you guys do?
You know, I'd love to make amplifiers, for somebody's garage band. And, some of the price points in the industry are pretty low. And making stuff in the U.S., it's hard to get down to those price points and be competitive. So I think that the Aguilar philosophy would be better served, and our company would be better served by trying to actually represent how much value our product actually has, and why it's a better choice for the consumer to spend a little bit more and get a great speaker cabinet, a great amplifier that's going to be reliable, that's going to sound great, that's going to last them a long time. And so sometimes things that are not down market as far as price are actually worth the extra money.
Yeah.
And we'd like to think that Aguilar product is worth the extra money and shows its value.
Yeah. Is that a volume issue? I mean sales volume rather than output. In terms of what you can produce every month, is that a sort of is that an issue for you guys as well? Because if you wanted to make more mass market products, you'd have to presumably make bigger numbers of them.
No, we've actually been hiring a lot. So if you have good assembly skills, give us a call. And willing to live in New York, there. That's not an issue. We have very efficient manufacturing techniques and processes. Again, the issue about making cheaper stuff is that in reality, cheaper stuff is cheaper because something has been done in a less expensive way. So it's either the individual parts manufacturer, the amount of quality control, the raw materials. So, making stuff that's down market from where Aguilar is, I'd rather represent a good value, and that the high end actually becomes what's normal, that it's desirable, that represents a good value. The tone hammer amplifier line, in my opinion, is not terrifically expensive, and it represents a great amplifier.
I think we touched on earlier, Dave, about the subject of what's hot and what's not in the sort of bass market,
Sure,
and
and what influences
things
that.
come in, they go out. How difficult is it for you guys to stay on top of that and be the brand that people are still buzzing about?
Well, I think we focus on making good products, so we're not really chasing trends necessarily. So we think about what we can add to the market that has value to the player. And I think that when we approach things from that perspective, whether it's that we're making pedals, pickups, or amplifiers, I think it's served us well and has led us to a lot of really good products. And we focus on, as much as possible, I think we've been lucky to make a lot of legacy products through hard work. The tone hammer amp gains more and more popularity all the time. We weren't the first we weren't the first little amp on the market. But we took our time and we developed the Aguilar version of a little amp, and it sounds like an Aguilar. It's got the volume and the power that you'd expect from an Aguilar. It's got a useful feature set like you'd expect, and because of that, more and more people just get exposed to it, whether it's through the pro players that use it or the great dealers that carry it. And I think that the focus on making the best products we can. We focus on that more than just trying to be influenced by what everyone else is doing.
And what about the different? You've got other parts of the business as well. You have the OEM business with the pickups, and obviously you sell the pickups individually as well, and the pedals. I mean, what sort of how much of the business is that currently making up?
Oh boy, interesting. I'm not sure what the specific percentages are of pedals versus other things. We kind of, one of the fun things with the pedals is that we have some distributors in the U.S. that sell just the pedals, pickups, and preamps to dealers. Because that is the pedals are a more How would you describe it versus the amplifiers? I mean, it's something that even if a store doesn't want to carry the full range of Aguilar product, some dealers do really well with the pedals.
Flex pedal could be an impulse buy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good way
it's
to
sort of
put
an
it.
entry point to the brand for
Yeah.
for some guys, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the specific breakdown is, but we just try to make sure that we have the right manufacturing capacity, the right sales staff, the right marketing approach to develop each part of the market to the fullest extent that it's possible.
Mhm.
So,
And the OEM market for your pickups seems to be expanding, and
very much so.
so you're in a number of brands at the moment. Is that right? You're in Spectre
Yeah,
bases
yeah.
and
Spectre is a big one.
what
yeah.
others?
Federa, Roscoe, Zahn Guitars, Mike Lull.
Right.
Um,
I mean, is that a fairly open market for you guys? Will you, if someone just wants to order your pickups and put them in their base sets,
Yeah, absolutely.
fine, or is there
Absolutely.
or is there a bit of what's the word? Quality control or licensing?
Well,
Or vetting
we're
of them.
making the electronics, so that's our piece of the quality control. But,
Yeah.
No, we really like it when somebody's going to do a line of instruments and feature Aguilar pickups. So, for example, ESP has a new bass that they worked on with Rocco Prestia, a PJ bass with 4, 5, and 6 strings. It's a great instrument,
Mm.
and we're glad to be part of it. So we're always happy when it's a great instrument, but our job is to do our piece. And sometimes there's a bass with a really interesting design, and we're kind of going, but again, our piece is to make a great pickup. It's a great transducer. And
Are there any out there you think, I wish you didn't have my pickups in it?
what's that?
Any guitars out there where you think, I wish you didn't have my pickups in it?
Yeah, no,
Not naming any
no,
names.
no, not really. No.
Is there I mean, in terms of going back to the amps, is there a holy grail product for you guys which you'd like to develop? Is there something out there we go, I'd really like to do that, but it's a difficult kind of thing to
Well,
do?
we've been consulting with the knights who say neat, right? No, that's wrong holy grail.
Good reference.
Uh,
Good reference. Well done.
Is that what they said?
Knee, yeah.
Knee? Knee, okay.
Although much higher pitched and
Much higher
more
pitch.
emphasis.
And
Yes.
which incidentally I saw that in London, which was better with a British cast than an American cast.
Or was it?
I just want to go on record as saying that. What was the question? Is there a holy
Is there
grail?
a holy grail product that we would like to develop?
Well, it's interesting that you had a number of questions about less expensive product. And I would say that for Aguilar, we'd like to make a bass amps for everybody. So I think the holy grail for us was, can we make a great bass amp for younger players, maybe in a combo version, and great power handling, a great headroom, and who knows? Could be a product that we're thinking about or working on.
Yeah,
That'd be a holy grail product.
but hard to compromise, I guess, in terms of quality.
Well, you're kind of threading the needle. You don't want to compromise quality ever, but what you want to do is look at it the other way and say, what's the best quality design we can make?
Mm.
What's the best engineering we can use? What's the best understanding of the musical application? And it all kind of sounds high-minded and but this is really what you have to do.
Yeah,
Because otherwise the solutions would be either too simple that everybody would do them, or so obtuse nobody would ever make anything good.
Mhm.
So that's what we strive for year after year. But I'd like to make a product like that. That would be a terrific product.
And what about other parts of the market? Would you ever look at anything else outside of the bass market, perhaps, or is that just bass is what we do and we do it well, and we'll leave that to someone else? Would you look at anything else like that?
I don't think so. Those who know me, I love the guitar. I love to play the guitar. But what we understand and what we really do well is bass.
Mhm.
And it's a different animal. You're hearing different musical function. You're hearing different sounds. And as related as guitar amps and bass amps are, it takes a different design approach. And I think that we have innate skills and intuitive skills for designing bass gear.
Mhm.
and that's where we're going to find our success and maintain our success.
Okay. And well, is there then in the base market something else that you guys could expand into, perhaps?
I think we're covering all the electronics.
Yeah.
We're doing the onboard preamps, pickups, amplifiers, cabinets. I don't think there's anything left.
Okay.
So we're certainly doing more pedals, expanding. All our pedals are analog pedals.
Yeah.
As we've been talking about it, more amplifiers, different sizes, different designs, but really the same, those types of products.
Hmm. And so expansion for the company is in terms of sales volume or how?
Well, I think that's an interesting question. What's the expansion for the company? Certainly we're going to expand the number of models of pedals that we have. Right now we have 6. We'll probably have 7 shortly. There's no reason why we couldn't have a dozen or more. With the pickups, the line is, what do we have, about 20 models in there?
If you count everything, it's 31.
31. Luthiers are always coming up with new requirements, designs, pickup placements, sizes, so we can expand there exponentially as well.
Right.
I think those are big areas of growth. I think that there's going to be more high-powered, lightweight amps that we can build. We can change the feature sets. Again, I think the idea is to figure out what's going to be a useful musical tool and what applications we can address.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be in those areas that will grow. And I have to say that in the last few years we've gained some terrific distributors, which has helped grow the company.
Mm-hmm.
So our ability to reach our customers has tremendously improved.
So your export market has expanded. Are there areas where you're perhaps not quite there yet? Are there any international markets you want to expand into? Or?
South America's a little tricky.
Right.
We have good distributors in some areas and not all of South America covered. There are little places here and there as well in
Is
other
that just
parts of the world.
Tricky to find the right partner, or?
Tricky finding the right partner. Also, like certain taxes. Argentina is a
Right.
particularly tricky country.
Okay.
So it just things like that.
Okay. And what about the general state of the MI market at the moment? What's your feel for where we are right now? I mean, the UK market's probably usually trails a couple of years behind whatever the US is doing. I mean, do you feel that things have started to pick up now?
Well, we're having our best year we've ever had, so it's hard for me to address how the general market is doing. I think we're a very specific part of it.
Yeah.
And but I think consumers in the U.S. are active. People want to play music. They want to buy quality goods. They want to get value, things that are reliable, things that are useful.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's fueling our market, and we're looking at another great year next year, and hopefully beyond that.
Yeah. And what's coming up from you guys in terms of stuff you've got at NAMM? You've got a lot of launches at the show, or?
Well, we just started shipping the new Chorusaurus bass chorus pedal. So that literally started shipping yesterday.
Right.
We just announced a limited edition color for our SL112 cabinet, which is our most popular cabinet. And the color, it looks really sharp, and it's called Bass Cabernet.
Right.
So that's a fun color.
Because it's Cabernet looking.
It's burgundy.
It's kind of a burgundy.
Right.
It's burgundy. Yeah. So for NAMM,
Well, it's rumored. I've heard the rumor that we'll have a bass fuzz pedal there.
Right.
That's a good rumor. I like that.
Just in case this video gets out there before we've actually named it, we're accepting suggestions. So the good names have been taken. So bass fuzz pedal, you can help name it, and if we use your name, I give you one.
There you go. Brilliant.
We might have a
Okay.
new set of pickups or two as well, actually.
That's true.
Super.
Yeah.
All right. That's pretty much it. Thanks very much, chaps.
All right, thank you.
Well done. Boonshoft.